Gary, good afternoon. I don't assume the Reserve Bank's rate decision influenced markets today. I would imagine there's still optimism over, what's happening in the U.S. with the change of the presidency, potential stimulus and the new administration. That probably still gave the impetus to the JSE.
I think so. So we had the resource counters, strong all morning. We had some of the financial counters under a little bit of pressure throughout the day as well. And as we got the announcement that the rates were unchanged, we actually saw a mild weakening of the currency. We had a fairly positive entry to the day with the rand dollar rate, almost touching 14.80 at one point. But that has since stabilized, so not too much in it. And I think it was because, there was that split decision. And I think the narrative is very clear that, the SARB expects GDP to grow at around 3.6%. There is potentially room for a cut, but most economists had called unchanged. And when it came in unchanged, not too much movement in our local financial markets.
Just shifting focus there, Gary. Massmart, the owner of Game and Macro, out with some updates today showing the damage of the lockdown. And I suppose one would imagine there's more to come with the alcohol ban on the numbers.
Yeah, so looking at this was a 52-week sales update, and the sales that dropped, around 8%. But I think it was largely expected. So we saw the counter only marginally down on the day. They were talking about, of course, the alcohol ban, impacting foot traffic into the stores, over December, with it coming into play. It was always going to be very, very difficult for Massmart to put the same kind of numbers they did in 2017, at least in 2019. The one bright spot was, the home improvement in the DIY segment, which actually improved. But really just talking about Black Friday and how it wasn't quite, it didn't quite live up to the 2019 year, but overall not too bad, all things considered, given the very difficult position that the country finds itself in.
And then from platinum, Gary, to gold, Chris Griffith moves to Gold Fields after leaving Amplats last year at a time when commodities are really shooting the lights off and they're doing fantastically. What do you make of this announcement? I didn't think it would return to the mining industry to start off with.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Chris been kind of within the Anglo stable for so long. He's been the CEO of both Amplats and Kumba, and he's a very experienced miner. So looking at his move to Gold Fields, I think it's certainly Gold Fields shareholders breathing a bit of a sigh of relief that they're going to have such an experienced hand. Nick Holland stepping down after 13 years with the company, and I think what Chris Griffiths really brings to the table is a very solid safety track record, and also the turnaround that he made at Amplats, which really shifted the business from a very expensive, labor-intensive business to a much safer, much shallower mining and far more mechanized. So a good CEO, I think shareholders will definitely welcome it.
All right, thanks. That's where we have to leave it because of time. Gary Boyson is Rand Swiss. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.